AI coding tools are incredibly powerful, but if you have used them seriously in a real project, you have probably run into something frustrating. Sometimes the AI writes codes that technically works, but it doesn't follow the way your team actually builds software. Maybe it skips tests, maybe it ignores your architecture, or maybe the code works, but clearly doesn't match your project conventions. So every time you prompt it, you end up repeating the same instructions. Something like write test first, use this testing library, follow this folder structure. After a while, it starts to feel like you are constantly re-explaining your workflow to the AI. But there is actually a better way to handle this. Hey everyone, I'm Juntao. I help developers design and build better software, especially in the age of AI. In this video, I want to introduce something that is becoming increasingly important when working with AI coding agents. It's called agent skills. Agent skills are part of an emerging open standard for teaching AI agents how to perform tasks in a software project. The idea is simple. Instead of repeating instructions in every prompt, you define reusable workflows that AI can follow. Things like how your team implements features, how tests are written, how components are structured, or how data fetching works in your particular application. Those workflows are defined once, and then the AI can reuse them whenever a similar task appears. Several tools already support the idea. For example, Claude Code supports skills directly. Cursor, the IDE, also implements skills inside your repo. So the goal of this video is not really about a specific tool. Instead, I want to explain the concept of agent skills and why they can dramatically improve how AI works inside a real codebase. Then we'll look at a concrete example using Cursor so you can see how this works in practice. A good way to think about this is to compare it with onboarding a new team member, a developer. Imagine an experienced developer join your team. They already know programming. They understand the testing, architecture, and good engineering practices. But your team probably does things in a slightly different way. Maybe you organize files differently. Maybe you follow a strict TDD workflow. Or maybe your project using specific library or patterns. So when the developer first joins the team, they need to learn a lot of project-specific knowledge. Now the fundamentals of programming, they already know those. What they need to learn are the local conventions and workflows that makes the codebase consistent. Over time, once they understand these patterns, their code starts to look like it was written by someone who has been in a team for years. Agent skills works in almost exactly the same way. The AI agent already has a general programming knowledge, but it doesn't know the specific workflow that your project follows. And by defining skills, you are essentially teaching the agent, this is how things are done in this particular repo. You distill the workflow that work well in your project, encode them once as skills, and then the agent can apply them automatically. In other words, instead of behaving like a generic developer, the agent can behave much more like a senior developer who understands your codebase. Without skills, every prompt becomes like onboarding the same developer again and again. Agent skills are a way to encode reusable workflow for AI agents. You can think of them as playbooks that teach an AI how to perform certain tasks in your project. For example, a skill might describe how to implement a feature using test-driven development, create a new React component, add a GraphQL query, refactoring code safely. Instead of explaining those steps every time, you define them once, and the agent can reuse them whenever the situation appears. Some systems also support something called rules. Rules define the standing guidance for the project. Skills define task-specific workflows. The agent can load them when needed. Here are some examples of rules, like coding conventions, architecture guidelines, or testing philosophy. So if we simplify the idea, rules describe standards, while skills describe workflows. Together, they give the AI much richer context about how your project works. Behind the scenes, model AI coding tools are usually built around agents. Those agents use large language models to generate and modify code. When the agent works on your project, it receives context about your repository. Agent skills are simply structured pieces of that context. Each skill typically includes when it should be used and the step-by-step instructions for performing a task. For example, a skill file might say something like, when implementing a feature in this repo, following the test-driven development workflow. Then it describes the steps. Write a field test first, run the test suite, implement the minimum change, refactoring if necessary. Once the agent understands the workflow, it can apply it whenever a relevant task appears. So the magic here isn't really magic. It's mostly about providing the right context to the model. Now let's look at a concrete example. I have a small board application here. Inside the project, there is a component called ListView, which renders a list of tasks. Let's say we want to make a small change. We want to hide the assignee column in the ListView. So I can ask the AI agent to implement that change directly. So I will add a simple prompt here and then ask AI to make the change. So agent looks at this component and immediately starts modifying the code. And that's actually a reasonable response. But notice what it did. It directly added to the component implementation. It didn't write a test first. It simply changed the UI logic. There is nothing technically wrong with this, but in this project, we usually implement features using test-driven development. So ideally, the workflow would look like this. We write a failing test first, then we implement the change. And after that, when all the tests are passing, we do the refactoring if necessary. But the AI doesn't know that yet, so it behaves like a generic developer. Now let's introduce an agent skill that describes the workflow we want. In this project, I have defined a skill called TDD workflow. This skill explains how features are usually implemented in this repo. For example, it has this instruction. This project prefers a test-first workflow. So you need to write a failing test first and implement the smallest change and to make that pass, and also refactor only after tests are all green. And in a particular skill, you will also need to define a few metadata, the name of the skill and the description. And also you will be more explicitly say when the agent should use this workflow. So in here, I will say, use this workflow when you implement any new features, or you're fixing bugs, or modify existing behavior. And also if you are refactoring the behavior with the test coverage added first. And there are a few more details beneath. We will use a white test, and we will use the React testing library. And we use the MSW for mocking network requests. And we want to put the test into the test folder, which is next to the component that on the test. And also I provide a few conventions that the repo follows. Once I have this skill defined, I can just put that in the skill.md markdown file. And in Cursor, we can easily define our customer skills. The simplest way to do that in Cursor is to define a new folder, and we need to name that folder as .cursor. And inside this folder, we will create another folder called skills. And inside skills, we can define our workflow. Let's say we are defining this skill, we call that TDD workflow. And inside the TDD workflow folder, we will need to create the file called skill.md. And that file need to be exactly at the name, skill.md. And then we just paste the skill definition over. And now if we go to the top right corner, we can use the settings for the edit here. And then in the cursor settings, there is a rules, skills, and a sub-agent. You go to the skills. And for this particular project, we have this TDD workflow. As you can see here, it already shows up. That's because we are defining it with the cursor's convention. So you can define as many skills as you want. Just give it a name and a description. And then the name will show up here, and this is the description. So you ideally could have multiple skills defined in your repo. So instead of repeating those instructions every time we ask AI to implement a feature, we're encoding them once as a reusable skill. So in here, I'm using Cursor, which supports skill directly inside the repo, but the same idea exists in other agent environment as well. Now let's try the exact same prompt again. So I will need to undo the change here, and this one should be reverted to the original version. And then I will copy the same prompt, and I will send it over again. This time the agent has access to the TD workflow skill. Now notice what happens. Instead of editing the component immediately, it starts by writing a test. It creates a new test file. The test describes the behavior we expect, and only after that does it update the implementation. So the prompt didn't change, but the result is different, because agents now understand the workflow used in this particular project. The TDD workflow we just saw is a very simple example of a skill, but skills becomes even more powerful when they encode architectural workflows. For example, in many front-end applications, adding a feature often requires a data fetching from a backend service. And in a well-structured project, that process usually follows a consistent pattern. Imagine we define a skill called data fetching pattern. This skill describes how our project handles communication with backend APIs. So we can go to the skills and create another folder. Let's call it data fetching pattern. And inside this skill, we can create another skill.md. And just like the TDD workflow skill, we have the name and the description for this data fetching pattern. And we have more specific details of this pattern, like when to use this pattern. We want to, when you add a new feature that fetches data from the API, we want to use this pattern. And the principles are like we want to keep the data fetching logic inside a custom hook. We want the component focusing on random UI. And we're always handling the loading, success, and error states. And then in the implementation, we create a custom hook responsible for fetching the data, something like this, use tasks. And this skill could also remind the agent to use about controller correctly, so requests are cancelled when component amount. And if the API changes, the agent also can reference to the official documents for about controller to ensure the implementation is still correct. The skill can also encode the testing strategy. For example, when writing tests for data fetching, we might want to cover cases like the request fails with an error, the server returned empty data, the server returns valid data. So instead of AI guessing how to test the feature, the skill guides the agent to follow the same testing strategy used across the project. This is where skills become really interesting. They are not just about small coding tasks. They can capture system design decisions that your team has already made. Things like how data fetching works, how state is managed, how errors handled, how tests are structured. Once those decisions are encoded as skills, the AI can apply them constantly across the entire code base. In other words, skills allow us to encode not just the coding instructions, but the engineering practices and architectural patterns used in the project. The key idea here is actually quite simple. Many developers use AI coding tools like a general chat assistant. They type a request, look at the output, and then keep refining it with more instructions. But in a real project, many of those instructions are not temporary. They represent how your team actually build software. They including things like how features are implemented, how tests are written, how data flows through the system. So instead of repeating these instructions again and again, you can encode them as part of the project context. That's really the value of agent skills. They allow us to capture how work gets done in a code base, not just what the final code should look like. And once that context is in place, the agent doesn't just generate code. It starts following the same workflows, the patterns the whole team are using. If you are experimenting with AI coding tools, I strongly recommend trying this approach. Starting by defining a few simple rules for your project, You can start by creating skills for the workflows you repeat frequently. For example, implementing the feature or writing tests, create a component, or following your data fetching patterns. Over time, you can even encode more architectural workflows like state management or performance optimization. Once these ideas are in place, the AI starts to behave less like a generic code generator and more like a teammate who actually understands your project. And that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.